Got an interesting little story here for you. There's this man, his name is Ed Martin, and he was nominated by Donald Trump to be the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. And it turns out that Ed Martin had said some glowing, praiseworthy things about this guy who is like a political pundit. His name is Tim Hale. And if you guys don't know who Tim Hale is, he had a moment of fame, I believe it was last year, where there was a picture of him that went fucking mega viral, where he's got a little mustache, he's got, his black hair kind of combed in a little flop right here, and he's got his hand on his chest looking, he's doing Hitler cosplay. Now, turns out, of course, they always say, oh, I was just joking. It's just a joke. Yeah, because dressing like Hitler is really fucking funny, man. Yeah, that's hilarious. Holocaust denial, that's just funny. We're just joking over here. It's absolute insanity. But turns out that Ed Martin had been saying some, glowing, praisey things about this guy, Tim Hale. And then everybody finds out that, who this Tim Hale guy is. And he is just a straight up, Nazi supporting, Hitler cosplay kind of guy. And I don't think that Ed Martin actually got the position due to this, which is really surprising to me because usually they just double down. So many people were like, Pete Kegsbreath, he's not going to get nominated. He's not going to get through the nomination process. I'm like, of course he is. The Republicans, they have a majority in the Senate and they're not going to turn on Trump. And of course he got it. People are like, oh God, there's no way that Bobby Kennedy is going to get, approved in his nomination process. I'm like, yes, he is. Because the Senate is run by the Republicans and they are all bitches to Donald Trump. Of course he's going to get through. He got through every one of his nominations. I believe the only one he didn't get through was that dipshit who gets all the Botox in his face, who's from Florida, who, why am I drawing a blank on his name? It doesn't matter. But this guy, Ed Martin, did not get through the process. And I had a conversation recently with someone who was a conservative. And he was very up in arms about, how liberals and Democrats are always yelling Nazi and Hitler. And here's the deal. Maybe we would stop using those words if Republicans stopped acting like them. Having a offshore concentration camp is not helping your cause. Black bagging and snatching people off the street without due process is not helping your argument that you're not Nazis. That's Nazi shit. That's what Nazis did. And there is a very large contingent of Republicans that liked Hitler, that currently want things in America to be like it was in Germany in the 30s. They look to that as a positive. And in the conversation I was having with this Republican friend of mine, he's like, and you think that all Republicans are Nazis? And I'm like, no, of course I don't. I don't think all Republicans are Nazis, but I think all Nazis vote Republican. You will never see a Nazi voting for the left. And I know it's like, oh, they were the Socialist Party. Yeah, honey, socialism for white people. Socialism for the Aryan race and nobody else. They were jingoistic, nationalistic, authoritarian, right-wing fascist group, the Nazis. And anybody who supports the Nazi program or anything, praising Hitler. By the way, the guy's name is Tim Hale. Hail Hitler. I'm just saying. But anybody that praises that, that kind of horrible history and or denies the Holocaust of the Jewish people, I guarantee you they voted for Donald Trump. And that's just the way it is. I am not saying that Republicans are genuinely Nazis. That's not true. There are plenty of Republican people out there who just vote on tax cuts and deregulation, and they've been voting Republican their whole life, and they think that liberals are all weak and stupid or what have you, and they don't have that kind of ideology. And, they have black friends and Spanish friends and Japanese friends, and, as long as I'm not paying taxes, or high taxes, and I get to keep all my money, generally speaking, that's a very large chunk of the Republican Party. But there are plenty of people who vote Republican who are just Nazis. And Ed Martin, whether or not he is a Nazi sympathizer, I'm not here to speculate. But him saying kind words about this guy, Tim Hale, who is a fucking Nazi sympathizer, it says something. It's like that old phrase, if you are in a room with 10 Nazis, there are 11 Nazis in the room. If you are not separating yourself from them, you're kind of agreeing with them. So to Republicans out there, I'm not saying that you're Nazis, but there are a shitload of Nazis out there that vote the same way you do. Something to think about. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.